lectionary psalm for today is Psalm 1, which I think is very appropriate for the Lenten season. Listen to the living Word of God. Oh, the joys of those who do not follow the advice of the wicked, or stand with sinners, or join in with scoffers. But they delight in doing everything the Lord wants. Day and night they think about His law. They are like trees planted along the river bank, bearing fruit each season without fail. Their leaves never wither, and in all they do they prosper. But this is not true of the wicked. They are like the worthless chaff scattered by the wind. They will be condemned at the time of judgment. Sinners will have no place among the godly. For the Lord watches over the path of the godly, but the path of the wicked leads to destruction. This is the word of the Lord. When we think about Psalm 1 and the challenge that's presented to us there, we have actually two different paths. We have the path of walking the way after the Lord, and we have the path of walking the way after our own desires and our own life. And that's deeply challenging, because while we might think that in our discipleship, we trusted Christ, we're attempting to follow the Christ, we might think that in our discipleship that question was settled. But there's this thing called daily conversion. And the challenge is for us to wake up every day and to walk the path of the godly and not the path of the ungodly. Sometimes we succeed and sometimes we fail. And that's what makes this text here deeply challenging. How will we live today? Another way to think about this is to think in terms that the discipleship life, the life of following the Christ, is lived only in this moment. It's if we begin to think about we're going to, for the rest of our lifetime, follow the Christ, we know we'll fail. And so there's no actual reason for us to even attempt to do anything, because we'll know that there's no chance that we can succeed from this point on. But if we attempt to follow the Christ in this moment, in this existential moment right now, and live in this moment under His Lordship, under the Word, then there can be some success. It won't be complete, but it can be substantial. And so another way to think about this is to think about how we live really matters. It talks about here, they delight in doing everything the Lord wants. They think about His law all the time, every day. And so when you think about how the challenge of that, the only way that we can really do what the Lord wants and think about His law is to pray. And so this is really the gateway into discipleship, the life of prayer. And I don't just mean intercessory prayer, but I'm talking about quiet prayer, contemplative prayer, listening to the Lord and allowing the Lord to shape us. This prayer that I'm describing shapes us over time. It's not a once and for all proposition. But daily, as we meet with Christ, as we meet in quietness, as we listen to the calling of the Lord on our lives, suddenly we'll look back in a year and we'll see how we've grown and changed and our discipleship has deepened. That's what occurs. Like I say, it's very subtle, almost incognito, but suddenly we look back and we see how we have changed. So the challenge of this text is the question of what type of life are we building? Are we building a life that's full of God and full of the things of God? Or are we building a life that's full of self? And disciples can be full of self, believe me. And so the challenge is to allow, not to make ourselves the standard, or I think I'm doing okay compared to someone else, but to really make Christ the standard. He is the standard for our calling. And when we compare ourselves to Christ, all of us know we have a long way to go. Have a blessed day.